Today, we are fortunate to have here with us two teams that will be debating who's against and who's will adapt the work from home arrangement. We aim to shed light on the moral, legal, and social dimension of this topic.
Music licensing reimagined.
In light of Rochelle's concern about data privacy risk in personal workspaces, our approach emphasized the implementation of monitoring tools.
But isn't it that every employee should practice integrity during work hours? Employees should only visit websites, use tools and resources.
Artlist.io.
Okay, I get your point, but even with MDM policies, employees may still feel that their personal space is being encroached upon.
Same with the initial statement for privacy concerns. This could also be a
Music
problem when
licensing
someone else's data
reimagined.
is being invaded, like the use of the screenshots for.
However, Rex, in some cases, employees may feel pressured to provide consent, especially if they believe that refusal could negatively impact their.
Pandemic restriction is gradually receding and vaccination rates increase. Businesses and organizations are reverting to their pre-pandemic work setup. 51% of Philippine workers will be back on site in 2023. This is according to the survey conducted by HR Asia. Half of them seems realizing that the work from home arrangement gave them some sort of advantage on various efficiency for both employers and employees. Employers can save financially on saving on getting bigger office, paying huge amount of monthly operating expenses. Organization can also take this opportunity to shift to output-based delivery system. This makes better planning and forecast output for projects. But of course, there are a lot of downside of this on these changes, specifically ethical issues. In this context of technology and trying to understand, will technology enough to address these ethical issues and eventually adapt with the work from home arrangement? Today, we are fortunate to have here with us two teams that will be debating who's against and who's will adapt the work from home arrangement. We aim to shed light on the moral, legal, and social dimension of this topic and encourage a constructive dialogue that can help shape a more ethical and privacy conscious IT landscape. Okay, let's begin. Digital age has raised complex ethical dilemmas, specifically privacy. How do we address these ethical challenges in a work from home setup? Will this pose an ethical surveillance, potentially misuse of collecting data? What are the mitigation we can do? To begin with, what are the privacy issues, pros and cons when doing the work from home or the work from the office setup? Let's start with the affirmative side. Take away, Rex.
In response to the ethical challenges posed by collecting data, surveillance, and the potential for misuse in the digital age, we advocate for the implementation of a comprehensive and transparent remote work security policy. This policy should explicitly detail the methods of monitoring, their intended purposes, and the clear limits that safeguard individuals' privacy. By doing so, companies and their employees can navigate the digital age with a shared commitment to protecting privacy while enjoying the conveniences and insights it offers.
Well, you should consider that even with transparent communication, some employees may still feel uneasy about the idea of being monitored. Even if the policy is well defined, they may perceive it as an intrusion into their privacy, which could potentially lead to a decrease in morale and trust.
Mm-hmm. To answer Seb about the intrusion issue, what organizations can do is to implement monitoring tools that focus on security threats without excessive intrusion into employees' personal activities. emphasize the importance of monitoring only when necessary to address potential security risk.
But when doing work at your own place or workspace, data privacy may also be at risk as you may not know if someone might hear or see what you are doing. This is beyond the implemented organization monitoring.
In light of Rochelle's concern about data privacy risk in personal workspaces, our approach emphasized the implementation of monitoring tools designed specifically to target security threats while respecting employees' personal boundaries. By prioritizing the importance of monitoring only when necessary to address potential security risks, we strike a balance between safeguarding sensitive information and respecting employees' privacy, ensuring a secure digital work environment without unnecessary intrusion.
To note, this may do so as for some companies, they ask their employees to use tools like HubStuff, and the likes. This keeps on getting a screenshot of your screen on your work duration. This could also compromise your personal data in case you are opening any personal identifiable information.
But isn't it that every employee should practice integrity during work hours? Employees should only visit websites, use tools and resources that pertain to their job responsibilities. Again, in case of company provided machines, these devices should only be dedicated solely to work related tasks. If employees wish to engage in personal activities or tasks unrelated to work, it is advisable that they employ their personal devices for these purposes, and it should be done outside working hours.
Yes, it's true that employers may implement software to monitor employee activities, including screen captures to detect potential security threats, camera device that auto captures photos to make sure there is someone in front of the computer. But this raises questions about the right to privacy.
While it's true that employers may utilize software for monitoring employees' activities, such as screen captures to detect potential security threats or camera devices to ensure a presence in front of the computer, it is essential to acknowledge that such measures indeed raise questions about the right to privacy. We need to strike a balance between security and personal privacy, ensuring that monitoring practices respect the boundaries of employees and adhere to ethical standards.
Mhm. To add to what Rex said, another point is to give employees control over their own devices by implementing mobile device management or MDM policies that separate personal and work related data.
Okay, I get your point, but even with MDM policies, employees may still feel that their personal space is being encroached upon. Knowing that their employer has the ability to remotely access, monitor, or wipe their personal devices, even if limited to work-related data, can lead to a sense of unease and a potential violation of privacy. There is a potential for these powers to be abused. Employers could potentially overstep boundaries and access personal information that is not strictly related to work. This raises questions about the extent of control and the limits that should be placed on such policies. There are alternative methods to separate personal and work-related data, such as containerization or virtualization technologies, which can provide similar benefits without potential intrusion on personal privacy.
Uh-huh. I got your concern, Seb. But to address that, Seb, open communication about MDM policies can mitigate these concerns. When employees understand the reasons behind monitoring and how it safeguards both their privacy and company data, trust can be maintained and even strengthened.
To add to what Pilino said, while acknowledging the legitimate concerns about the impact of MDM policies on personal privacy and the potential for abuse, we propose that a solution lies in establishing a clear and transparent process for obtaining informed consent from employees regarding monitoring practices. This way, employees can make an informed decision about the extent of control they are comfortable with. thus striking a balance between data security and individual privacy. In doing so, we can address these challenges while preserving trust and morale between employers and employees.
However, Rex, in some cases, employees may feel pressured to provide consent, especially if they believe that refusal could negatively impact their job security or advancement opportunities. Next, negative impact there. Advancement opportunities. This power dynamic can undermine the true voluntariness of a consent process. The language used in consent forms and agreements can often be complex and filled with legal jargon. Employees, particularly those who may not be well versed in legal terminology or technology, may not fully understand the implications of what they are consenting to. This can result in a situation where consent is given without a true understanding of the potential consequences. Even with consent in place, there may be challenges enforcing and ensuring compliance with monitoring practices. It may be difficult to track and verify whether the agreed upon practices are followed, especially in remote work environments.
Mhm. To answer your concerns, Rudmar, and also to support the arguments of Prex, what organizations can do is to regularly educate and update uh, their employees about how the monitoring process works and how their data will be used to promote transparency and maintain trust. This proactive approach can lead to a better understanding and cooperation among employees.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you for that very insightful information. When the pandemic hit us, people tend and somehow able to adjust and adapt quickly on change, particularly on how we can continue working and companies to operate productively. Given this limitation, privacy issues surface over time, and some were able to address this through policy and procedures. Let me leave you with this in mind. How do you draw the line between your personal and professional spaces? The previous statement focuses on individual or staff dilemma or issue. This time, let's look at the company's lens. This change deals positively and negatively on protecting companies' valuable information, whether it is proprietary data, employees, customers, or companies' valued client information. Let's hear once again from both teams as they battle their respective arguments on this time. Data security concern. Rex, what do you have for us when it comes with data security?
Data security is a paramount in safeguarding a company's valuable information, be it proprietary, employee, customer, or client data. In this digital age, we advocate for a proactive approach by encouraging the use of secure virtual private networks and encrypted communication tools to protect data in transit. By prioritizing these technologies, we can ensure the confidentiality and integrity of sensitive information while promoting a secure environment for all stakeholders.
Same with the initial statement for privacy concerns. This could also be a problem when someone else's data is being invaded, like the use of the screenshots for work-related concerns. The app might be able to take a screenshot of a private data and post security text on the data owner. Even with secure tools in place, employees may still make mistakes, such as inadvertently sending sensitive information the wrong recipient or falling for phishing attacks. These human errors can occur despite the use of VPNs and encryptions. Highlight the need for a comprehensive training and awareness program. Also, the effectiveness of VPNs and encrypted communication tools can be heavily reliant on the stability and security of the internet connection itself. In regions with unreliable or compromised internet infrastructure, These security measures may provide a false sense of confidence.
Um, you may have a point, Rochelle, but while it's true that human errors can occur, it's important to emphasize that these these secure tools, VPNs, and encryption significantly reduces the risk of data breaches and unauthorized access. These security measures act as a critical safeguards among common threats. Training and awareness programs are essential to educate employees and reduce the likelihood of errors.
But strict policies regarding the use of company-provided machines may be perceived as lack of trust in employees. This can negatively impact morale and potentially erode the sense of autonomy and responsibility that employees feel towards their work. While the policy may prohibit personal use of company-provided machines, employees may still use personal devices for personal tasks if these personal devices are not subject to the same level of security measures. If it could potentially introduce additional security risks to the organization.
I agree with you, Rodmar and Rochelle. While we recognize the importance of maintaining trust in employee morale, it's equally essential to safeguard company data. To strike a balance, we propose implementing strict access controls and two-factor authentication measures to restrict access to sensitive information. This approach not only ensures data security, but also allows employees to use personal devices for personal tasks without compromising organizational security. By doing so, we can protect company data while respecting employee autonomy and responsibility.
This may be a problem if the employee's phone got lost or their batteries are drained. How will they inform their colleagues if they cannot connect without any authentication?
Well, there should be a clear and well communicated policy in place for dealing with lost or stolen devices to protect both the company's data and the employee's privacy. It applies not only in remote work, but in on site as well. Then, almost all companies have their business continuity plan, a comprehensive strategy and set of procedures that an organization develops to ensure it can continue operating during and after significant disruptions or emergencies, just like what Rochelle mentioned.
Actually, Filino, it's hard to implement. Why? Because the speed and effectiveness of response of a lost or stolen device can vary. In remote work environments, especially or in dispersed or international teams, the logistics of tracking and recovering devices may be more complex, potentially leading to delayed responses. Retrieving the device safely may not always be feasible or nor straightforward. The company's efforts to recover the device could potentially involve accessing personal information stored to the device, raising questions about the balance between data security and individual privacy rights.
While acknowledging the challenges of retrieving lost or stolen devices in remote work environments, we propose a proactive approach to address these issues. This includes providing cybersecurity training to employees, raising awareness about potential threats and best practices, by equipping employees with the knowledge to protect their devices and data. We can reduce the likelihood of device loss or theft and mitigate the need for potential invasive recovery efforts. This approach fosters a culture of responsible data security and privacy while ensuring the safety of company information.
Still, employees have varying levels of technical proficiency. Some may struggle to grasp complex cybersecurity concepts, potentially leading to gaps in understanding and implementation. Cybercriminals often exploit human error through techniques like phishing and social engineering. Despite training, employees may still fall victim to these tactics, emphasizing the need for additional layers of security beyond training alone. It may also give employees a false sense of security after com- completing cybersecurity training, which may lead to complacency. They may assume that they are adequately protected and may not exercise the same level of caution and vigilance as they should.
I agree with you, Seb. While we acknowledge the varying levels of technical proficiency among employees and the limitations of training alone, we propose a practical solution. Mandating the use of company issued devices that are properly configured and regularly updated for security, this approach ensures a baseline level of security and minimizes the risk associated with human error. By providing employees with well maintained, secure devices, we can enhance the overall security posture and reduce the potential for cyber threats while still valuing the importance of ongoing training and awareness.
Uh, However, employees may be inclined to continue using their personal devices, especially for tasks that require software applications that may not be available in the company-issued devices. This behavior often arises from the desire for efficiency and familiarity, as employees may already be accustomed to using specific tools or applications on their personal devices. Additionally, personal devices may have customizations or configurations that enhance productivity and streamline certain tasks, providing a level of convenience that employees may find valuable. In most organizations, employees are typically restricted from installing software on company-issued devices, which we know this policy is in place to maintain the integrity and security of the company's IT infrastructure.
To add with what Rudman said, this could also pose a threat if the updates are not automatically triggered. Why? Because some may not notice that the links they are clicking are mostly phishing links, especially those who are not tech enough to check whether it's a possible phishing attack or not.
Well, aside from regular software updates, the organization should also require all employees, whether they work from home or on site, to complete the cybersecurity courses and obtain certifications. So, this proactive approach will enhance the organization's overall security posture.
So we all know that the cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving. New threats and attack vectors emerge regularly, making it challenging for employees to stay up to date with the latest best practices and certifications. This highlights the needs for ongoing and adaptive training programs, which might entail costs. Requiring employees to complete extensive cybersecurity training and obtain certification may be perceived as an additional burden. It could potentially impact morale and autonomy, especially if employees feel overwhelmed or pressured to meet certification requirements.
Thank you for a wonderful exchanges of perspective and stance on private data privacy. Honestly, there's a bunch of technology, but it is a question of the capacity of the organizations investing on such tools. You mentioned MDS, company provided devices, multi-factor authentication, support to the user in terms of uh, problem on the technology or the devices. Nevertheless, this tool can be implemented along with strong policy and procedures in place to mitigate all this. But again, beyond technology, there's still human within the process. Implementation and enforcement could augment how this tool to be used effectively. It's good to know from the discussion to see things in different perspective through different angles. Obviously, there's a lot of arguments when it comes to working remotely or work from home arrangement. Few considerations like industries of the company, work function of the employee, how the employee need to contribute to the company as regard with this job function. Pandemic make companies and employees to adjust in an uncontrollable situation. What more if the situation makes room for flexibility? things to ponder. Thank you so much for watching us. The team battle out their each perspective on whether work from home is whether the technology can mitigate all the issues on a work from home basis. Again, special thanks to the member of the debating team. For the affirmative team, thank you for Federex, Felino. For the negative team, thank you for Seb, Rudmar, and Rochelle. This is Joms, your moderator. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.